vaccinated. Cleveland will be home to the first federal mass vaccination clinic in the state. What you need to know about who can sign up. Back to school battle. Cleveland teachers say conditions aren't right. What they're demanding from the district and what the district says they've already done to keep teachers safe. Examining the numbers, how low we need to get our case numbers in order for Governor DeWine to lift COVID restrictions.
We kind of have to straddle that line of I want to be informed, but I don't want to psych myself out about this.
Wedding planning. Couples and venues navigate muddy waters and hope this wedding season will go off without a hitch. And it's National Unplugging Day. We talk to an expert about what staring at a screen all day can do to your eyes and your mental health. We also have some tricks to help you ditch your screen. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And a very happy Friday, everybody. Hello again, Northeast Ohio. Welcome to another installment of What's New. Betsy is off today, so we're joined by January Keaton. I'm Jay Crawford. In January, I know you already know this because I've told you many times. It's great to have you in. I've certainly enjoyed your reporting over the past couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to co-hosting this show with you. It should be fun.
I could not wait. It is so great to be here, Jay. Thank you so much. And I love the fact that you enjoy my reporting because I do it all for you, Jay.
Well, you know what? I listen to the reports as if they're just for me. You work. Okay, we start this Friday with huge news on the vaccine front, and it's good news. Governor DeWine today announcing that the first federally funded mass vaccination site in Ohio, and it's in our backyard. Cleveland State's Wolstein Center will become a vaccination location. That will happen in a matter of just a few weeks. Let's bring in senior health correspondent Monica Robbins to tell us more about this and what we need to know. Monica, good afternoon to you. I think this is just another bit of good news, and we're kind of getting used to this trend now.
You know, this is something we've needed for so long, Jay. This is huge news, and you don't have to be Irish to get this lucky on St. Patrick's Day, because this is the news we have been waiting weeks to hear. It will be a joint effort by state and federal agencies to put this together in less than a week and a half. Cleveland State's Wolstein Center was chosen by FEMA based on its location to a large percentage of people at high risk and in medically underserved populations. There are 1.1 million Ohioans in Northeast Ohio who were over age 60, and many who live within just a few miles of the Wolstein Center who are medically underserved or living below the poverty level. So for 8 weeks, local, state, and federal agencies will be able to vaccinate about 6,000 people a day, 7 days a week.
Overall, more than 25,000 people live within 1 mile of this site. Nearly 45% of these 25,000 citizens live below the poverty level, and 66% are in medically underserved communities. If you draw a 6-mile radius around Cleveland State, there are 100 neighborhoods with higher than average vulnerability.
Any Ohioan who falls in the current eligible categories can be vaccinated at the clinic, but keep in mind the focus is mainly on those who are at high risk and have to have easy access to appointments, because this is part of a federal program. The doses given out at the clinic are going to be in addition to the state's allotment, going to more than 1,200 vaccine providers. So that's awesome news. This isn't taking away from any of the pharmacies or providers already giving it. And the Pfizer vaccine will be given for the first 3 weeks of the clinic, and then those people who were vaccinated come back for their second dose, and then the last 2 weeks they're not sure which vaccine they're going to be using. But I'm guessing if they're only going to keep it for 2 weeks, Jay, and they're not going to expand the clinic, the most likely choice would be the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yeah, that makes sense, because that, of course, will completely vaccinate everyone with just one shot. So, Monica, we know that one of the difficult things about getting vaccinated has been just going through the sign-up process. How will people sign up to go to this mass vaccination site? Please tell me it's going to be easier than what it's been in the past.
Oh Oh, my goodness. I so hope so, because we have to wait for the details on that right now. But we are being told that there will be several options for scheduling appointments, including in person, by phone, and hopefully soon online with that statewide scheduling system. However, specific instructions as to how to book an appointment, that's going to be announced in the next few days. Again, we're hoping it's going to be a lot easier than what everybody's dealing with now. And at 6, I'm also going to explain how people can get free transportation once they do get an appointment.
Monica, this is just great news all the way around, and I think it's really targeted to those that need it most. Monica Robbins, thank you very much. We're looking forward to more on this story coming up at 6. January?
All right, Jay. Well, just last night, Cleveland teachers voted overwhelmingly not to return to the classroom despite the school district's efforts to get students back in the classroom next week. Both sides today standing by their decisions. Brandon Simmons, he joins us now. He has the latest on what's going on to remedy that debate. Hey there, Brandon.
Hi, January. Yeah, that vote by teachers happened last night and included more than 500 of the members of the union. And I'm told 96% of them say they did not want to make that return into the classroom. Now, there's debate between both sides over what still needs to be done to get teachers back into the classroom. In this video provided by Cleveland Schools, you can see some of the steps that they've taken, which include safer areas and enhanced sanitizing and making sure there's enough PPE for everybody to go around. And they're also rearranging the classrooms to ensure there's enough social distancing. But the union says that work is still ongoing, and they're working with the school to complete checklists for each building to make sure that all of the buildings are safe. Until then, teachers won't be advised to return.
This was a team that we formed collaboratively with the district in each building. They're figuring out what it is that is out of place. And now we need to get those things fixed, and then we can get our adults and get our kids back in the building.
Now, we requested a copy of what is exactly on that checklist, but I haven't received it yet. I can say the union's biggest concerns so far include proper ventilation inside each building, finishing off those checklists that we just talked about, and then scheduling the right amount of time to actually transition students back into the classroom. Now, the interesting thing is that the district says it is not moving the back to school schedule back, and they expect staff to be in school on Monday, but even if they don't return to the classroom, they won't be locked out of those virtual teaching platforms next week. And it turns out while they wanted staff to be back in the building on Monday, they hadn't planned on actually having students back in the classroom until Friday. So there's still some time, January, for them to fix this situation and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and see if that plan will still happen. All right. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Well, since the governor's address yesterday, there has been a whole lot of talk and speculation, frankly, as to how we get to Governor DeWine's parameters of 50 cases per 100,000 so we can have all of those COVID-19 restrictions lifted. We think it bears a little further explanation, and let me start by saying the formula gets kind of complicated. Here's a few numbers, though, that we need to keep in mind. Our target for the total number of cases for a 14-day stretch to get to that 50 per 100,000 is right around 7,200, 7,195. That is for a 14-day total. If you break that down, that would be an average daily case count of 514 cases. I spent a lot of time on the phone today with the state of Ohio's Health and Safety Data Director. His name is Dan Tierney. He told me that those are safe assumptions to make right now. The numbers that they're using is actually a complicated formula, but to get to that number of 50 per 100,000, that is for non-incarcerated residents. The numbers that we get typically every day, those are for Ohio's total population. So if we take a look, on December 3rd, we had about 731 cases per 100,000 residents. February 3rd, and the governor mentioned this yesterday, we were down to 445 per 100,000. And as of today, we just did these calculations a short while ago. We're currently at 174 cases per 100,000. That means we need to come down 124 more cases per 100,000 to get to that number of 50 per 100,000. Long story short, this is absolutely doable, and most guesses would say we could get there in a matter of months. Now, as to how the state opens, that has a lot to do with how we plan. And many of these restrictions, if they are to be loosened, would mean that we could have events like benefits, parties, and of course, weddings in the not so distant future. But as Will Ewick reports, even if restrictions are lifted, it will not be an easy task to plan a major event.
I had an inkling. I'm like, maybe this is going to be it.
It was it. And for couples like Jenna and Marcus, getting engaged was a joyous occasion. The planning of that wedding, on the other hand,
it actually has been really difficult to find a rehearsal dinner space.
Has been more strenuous than normal.
Not only do you have to factor in all of the normal things, you have this added level of, are we going to have to wear masks? Is everybody going to have hand sanitizer? Maybe that's our gift to everybody for coming to the wedding.
Now, as Governor DeWine is relaxing some of the COVID-19 restrictions, couples and people planning other retirement parties, proms, or benefits are feeling a little more than optimistic.
I actually almost fell off my treadmill when we heard about things kind of opening back up.
This level of relief came over me.
However, with many events pushed back from last year and new ones coming up,
we're going to have a crazy year.
There's a bottleneck for dates and locations.
A lot of people from last year rescheduled to this year, so we're really busy. And then people are now going ahead and saying, let's have our wedding. Let's not wait. And so we're getting those people too.
Katie's advice is to act quickly, but be patient and flexible as you try to lock in your date and spot.
I have a couple different plans. We're event planners. We love doing this stuff. So as many plans as possible, we're happy.
Jenna and Marcus didn't exactly get the date they wanted, but they know it's the occasion that's celebrated, not the date. And sometimes you just have to roll with it.
We're going to roll with it until we can't anymore. And, if Come August, they say you can only have 100 people at the wedding, then we have some awkward phone calls to make.
If you're going to ask me advice for any brides that are getting engaged now, I would just say take it all in stride, because everything's changing by the day. So control what you can and take a deep breath and see how everything else plays out.
Hopefully our producer Monique does not get one of those awkward phone calls from her brother that she cannot attend the wedding. But, Jay, the interesting thing is I brought this up to my wife when we were planning our wedding. Why don't we have an A list, and then as you start to get people saying we can't make it, have a B list, and then you can invite people. And I brought it up to both Jenna and Marcus. Why don't you guys do that for the out-of-staters? And then as you find out some of them can't come because of travel restrictions or flights delayed or whatever, you can have a local B list. So they thought that was a good idea. I'm interested. Did you do that when you got married?
Listen,
or was it just send it out and then who can come can come?
I got married in another century, okay? So times have changed dramatically. But I will say, Will, that's a great idea, because we did plan our daughter's wedding, which is a couple of years ago, and that's exactly what we did. We had a lot of out-of-town guests coming in, but when we sent out the initial invitations, there's a formula that you use to try to figure out how many of those will respond yes. Then they had
There's a percentage, right?
Yeah, there's a percentage. Then they had a secondary B list of people that they would send those invitations to if their RSVPs came back less than they expected. That's how it works.
Right.
Will Hewitt, thank you very much. I was married in 1987, by the way, for the record. That was so long ago. January.
Wow, I was in elementary school in 1987. All right, in just a few hours, guys, a local student's vision to create a film festival for kids comes to life bigger than ever. Check this out. These are submissions from more than 140 kids around the world for Kids Film It Festival. It screens tonight at 7, going virtual for the first time ever, making it more accessible than ever. In years past, the Rock Hall played host. It's the vision of Cleveland teen Ryan Levine.
It's really cool to see all the different age groups, all their creativity. The films are so amazing, and just they have ideas that I would never think of. And it's really awesome every year to see what the kids come up with, and everything's very different. And it's just a really fun night. Even though it's online, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It sounds like it, Ryan. Now, the festival starts screening at 7 again. You just need to make a donation to watch. That's all. Do it at kidsfilmitfestival.com. It'll give you what you can, give what you can. Those funds will go to the Michael J. Fox Foundation and cause near and dear to Ryan, whose grandmother has Parkinson's. Since the festival started in 2016, it has raised more than $250,000. We're waiting to hear back about how much they raised this year. The Front Row team, we're working on that and coming up at 7. All right, well, next here on What's New, a local cheer coach suspended. What led to the administrative leave, and hear from the cheerleader standing up for change.
And Aaron Rodgers has another new challenge up his sleeve. Hear what he says that is. That's coming up in Pop Break.
All right, welcome back, guys. A local cheerleader is getting online support after standing up to a couple of teammates who were allegedly bullying other classmates online. But how did her TikTok video end with a text exchange that got her cheerleading coach put on administrative leave?
This girl, she disrespected so many people because of their race, their sexuality.
Jasmine Rimbert is more than just a typical teen cheerleader. She's an activist of sorts.
We're not taking any steps forward, we're taking steps back, and it's because of people like you.
This 17-second TikTok video posted by the 16-year-old was in response to social media videos posted by two of her teammates, allegedly using homophobic slurs, mocking a disabled cheerleader, telling a black student to go pick cotton, and joking about police brutality.
I have a life, please.
And with that, Jasmine made that clapback TikTok video. She also reached out to her cheerleading coach for help. But Coach Jessica Hopton texted Jasmine criticizing her TikTok video, telling her, quote, "What you did was also bullying, Jasmine, and I hope you know that." Superintendent Joe Specia disagreed with Coach Hopton's text exchange with Jasmine.
But I think that she needed to spend a little more time in looking at everything that was going on that led to the text message she sent to Jasmine.
Since the incident, Jasmine has received online messages of support and says she doesn't want to be looked at as a bully herself. But Jasmine doesn't regret making her TikTok video or what she said in it.
Honestly, I do not forgive them. They're both old enough to know that what they did is not okay. And I hope that they realize that.
Now, Jasmine, who had been suspended from the cheer team, she was allowed back on the squad. Coach Hopton remains on administrative leave pending the investigation. No word on what, if any, disciplinary action will happen to Jasmine's teammates.
All right, 18 minutes past the top of the hour. Time to get a check of our weather forecast. Matt, 2 thumbs up on the sunshine. I'm just gonna not weigh in on the temperature. Hopefully we can fix that. Your weather word for today is horizon, and I'll explain why. I think with all of the positive news we've had on the fight against the coronavirus over the last 48 hours, really the last couple of weeks, I do believe that a return to normal for us is on the horizon.
Yeah, Jay, I totally agree. And I think weather-wise, too, we're going to talk about just how cool it's been so far this year. We have yet to hit 60 degrees. And, you know, normally we deal with the cool across February and much of March, but this has been a little crazy so far. So we'll dive into that here in a second. In fact, our average first 60-degree days, we have not hit one yet. But our average is actually Valentine's Day. That's when we get at least 60 degrees out ahead of a cold front. We have yet to do that. It's been at least 6 years since we've been this late in the season to see that 60. But next week, as we look forward, I'm not going to use the keyword now, but it does look like we're going to have some 60s next week. Should be pretty nice. But boy, we didn't hit it today. It is cold, especially out towards the east. Temperatures near freezing out in the snow belt. Gets warmer as you head out towards the west, even towards Toledo. It gets warmer. You see the big picture. The core of this cold air continues across the northeastern half of the United States, and it gets progressively warmer underneath that ridge where they've had 50s and 60s. They're going to be talking 70s and 80s in the plains next week. So why so cold here locally? Well, if you've joined us over the course of last week, we've been talking about this low pressure that went up into Canada, and it is stuck. This pattern is stuck. So we continue to get this reinforced shot of cold air out of Canada aimed right at Ohio. You can see out towards the plains, though, you get that ridge. Much different weather pattern out there. And we do have a system that normally would probably come in here with some rain, but this little trough that we have is going to shove it down towards the south. So it's not going to impact us, but we're going to stay on the cold side of things as all the mild air is kind of stuck in the plains. This will head east as we go through next week. So as we look on the horizon towards next week's forecast, things looking pretty nice as we bring those 60s in here to the forecast. We've even had some snow flurries today out in Ashtabula County. This will continue. That's a late bell. That's okay. You can see that we're going to continue with these lake effect clouds with that colder air. Sunshine elsewhere. We're all into the 20s tonight. But as we look forward to the weekend, we're going to have lots of sunshine. We'll have some come and go lake effect clouds out towards the east. I don't think any snow out of those tomorrow. Just a cold Saturday. Another little wave comes in your Saturday night. This may kick off. Yeah, some more flurries. Most of us will be sleeping during those hours. By Sunday morning, some clouds, kind of a reinforced shot of cold air. So 2 cold days this weekend with highs in the 30s. We will see lots of sunshine. But as I mentioned, watch how this pattern changes. Here's that trough that's stuck. Sunday's the transition day where this starts to move out. We welcome the warmth in here, and I do think we have a couple chances at some 60-degree readings next week, and then a frontal boundary will sag south, so will turn briefly cooler next week. But overall, we are looking much, much more spring-like next week. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Here's your cold spot the weekend. Monday, our transition day. I've got us in the 60s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Rain arriving late Wednesday into Thursday. But January, it is going to be a nice feel once we hit 60 versus this near freezing stuff we have right now.
Oh, I cannot wait, Matt. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Wednesday to stay that way. I love that temperature. Thank you. All right, next on What's New, Dwayne Wade's daughter speaks to former First Lady Michelle Obama. The shared words on just being yourself ahead in your pop break.
Plus, you've got to see this. A different look from Dad gets a different response from his twins. Why these toddlers are just so confused. It's coming up. It's our Worth the Watch, and it's next.
Well, Aaron Rodgers talks fatherhood. A group of Grammy winners are creating a band, and Dwayne Wade's daughter interviews Michelle Obama. Lucky girl. Kiera Cotton has the scoop on all of it in today's Pop Break.
I'm meeting an idol. I'm literally meeting an idol. Zaya Wade couldn't contain her excitement during a Zoom conversation with her idol, Michelle Obama. The 13-year-old had the chance to speak with the former First Lady yesterday and seek advice for herself and other teens on how to authentically be themselves. Mrs. Obama went on to express how proud she was of Zaya, who began fully embracing her truth last year. And from football to fatherhood, Aaron Rodgers says becoming a dad is on the agenda. The recently engaged Green Bay Packers QB revealed in an Instagram Live with Zenith Watches that his next great challenge will be becoming a father.
Maybe not in the immediate future, but definitely something that I really look forward to.
Whenever the time comes, we're sure he'll be ready. What do you get when two R&B superstars form a group? The answer? Silk Sonic. Grammy Award winners Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak have both made names for themselves individually. But together, their music is, well, silky. Take a listen. I'ma leave the door open. The duo's first single, Leave the Door Open, is out now. I'ma leave the door open, girl. Leave the Door Open is just the first single from the group. Their album, An Evening with Silk Sonic, is expected to release later this year. Back to you guys.
All right, Kiera, thanks. Sign me up for Silk Sonic. I like the sound. Now, on to our Worth the Watch video.
What are you doing?
Okay, January, let me explain this video. This is a father of twins who normally has a full head of hair but decided to shave his head. And his daughters, bless their hearts, are looking at him like, I think I know who you are, but you look like a stranger. And here's my favorite part of the video, January. Watch the twin on the right. She's going to put her arm out once the father moves in an effort to protect her baby sister. Watch this. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Oh, look, it's creeping over.
No. Do not touch my sister.
No, you won't.
I think that's absolutely adorable.
And then she cries.
I know, right?
She cries at the stranger about to touch her sister.
I know, but to me it's so fascinating that at such a young age, she has that natural instinct of protecting her sibling. Pretty incredible, really.
It is innate in all of us. Protection of who we love is innate in all of us, right?
And that's a good thing.
Right, that's awesome. Well, next on What's New, digital detox. We're talking the importance of unplugging from devices today and why.
Plus, who's ready for some Polish dancing? The annual Dingus Day in Cleveland will go on this year. Details ahead. That's in Clicking in Cleveland.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
All right, welcome back to What's New, everybody. It is Friday. Betsy is off. She's taking that long weekend. Go ahead, girl, today. So I'm in the hot seat, of course, joined by Jay Crawford. Hey, Jay.
January, it's great to have you in. Thank you very much. I don't know if you're able to watch the 5 o'clock show because you're typically working out in the field, turning stories. One of the things we've decided to do a couple of weeks ago is to have a daily countdown to that first official day of spring, which is March 20th. And here we are now. We are down officially to 15 days. So when we are rejoined with our audience next Monday, we're going to be inside of 2 weeks, January, to that first day of spring. And I cannot wait until we get there. I love warmer weather. I don't hide that. I know, it's exciting because we're close now. We're really close.
Listen, I'm with you on that. I just moved back here from Georgia, as y'all know, so I am ready for the warmth. I need to ease into this winter. I got slapped in the mouth with it this year. Well, I needed to ease into it, so I'm looking forward to spring for sure.
The lucky thing for you is you're a native of Northeast Ohio, so you understand that it can take a little longer here than it does down in Georgia for us to get that full-fledged spring. But it's close.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it for sure. All right, guys. Well, we begin with 3 things you need to know. Let's do that, okay? First, a mass vaccination site is coming to Cleveland. Today, Governor DeWine and FEMA announced that Cleveland State's Wolstein Center will be a vaccination clinic starting March 17th. The clinic, it'll last 8 weeks, and leaders hope to administer 6,000 vaccines a day. You can sign up in person, over the phone, and hopefully online. Those exact details will be coming out soon, though. Well, light is at the end of the tunnel if you're waiting for a COVID relief check. Senators are debating and voting on amendments made to the $2 trillion American Rescue Plan. If passed, some Americans will receive a $1,400 stimulus check. There will be funding for vaccines and schools to reopen, and the jobless benefits, they'll be lowered to $300 per week. It's expected that all Republicans will vote against the bill, however, which would mean Vice President Kamala Harris, she'll break the tie and pass the bill.
And January, the third thing on our list of 3 things to know, Pope Francis is heading to Iraq. And this is not only the first time the Pope has left the Vatican in a year, but it's also the first time any Pope has ever visited the country of Iraq. He told reporters that it's his duty to visit a land that's been martyred for so many years. He plans to stay in Iraq for 4 days and will meet with Iraq's top Shiite leader.
Well, now to our top talker, guys, something we can all relate to here. Being on our devices too much. I have 14 of them right in front of me that you guys can't see. Today is National Day of Unplugging. It's a day where we're all encouraged to disconnect from our devices, Jay.
Yeah, I know it's a good idea, but boy, it is so much easier said than done. And I'm sure we all know that there are health benefits to limiting screen time from all of our devices. Particularly, and really at the front of this, is our eyes. We spoke to a cornea specialist at Cleveland Clinic's Cole Eye Institute about eye strain from being on devices too much. Here's a couple of takeaways that you need to know when you're looking at your cell phone or other screens.
Usually you want the top of your screen to be at eye level so that you're never having to look up above level. And that will make sure that your neck and your eyes and everything are in good position to use your screens.
All right, now Dr. C also says laptops should be at lap level or a bit higher. If they're too low, that's bad for not only your eyes, but also your neck and back, and I'm sure everyone can relate to that. Staring at our screens too long can also lead to dry eyes. You may have heard of blue light technology. Dr. C says there is evidence that exposure to blue light affects a rhythm that goes on in our eyes. So being exposed to blue light, LED light, or fluorescent light can actually throw off our brains trying to do a calculation that it can't handle.
So if you're using a computer screen in the evening or using your phone in the evening, that will make it harder. Your brain will be thinking it's time to stay awake, and it might be harder to fall asleep.
Now, I can tell you from experience, because I've experienced dry eye, and we've kind of narrowed it down to the idea that it's just too much looking at devices all day. Here is something that was told to me by doctors that I've found very helpful. It's the 20-20-20 rule. Try to add that to your routine. Here's how it works. For every 20 minutes you spend successively staring at a screen, take a break. Pick something 20 feet away and focus on that for at least 20 seconds. January, unplugging from devices is important for mental health as well. As you can imagine, just too much time on these devices, not good.
Absolutely. Most of us don't even realize just how often we're on our phones. 4 million times you're picking it up, you don't even realize it. Or how much time we spend just looking at screens all day during the day. Disconnecting from devices, it's proven to provide less anxiety, less depression, addiction. It gives you more of a sense of time. So how can you take a digital detox today, you may ask? Well, turn off all your notifications. Okay, anarchy, chaos, right? Hide your most used apps and put them on a separate page. Oh my gosh, I can't. Put your phone on do not disturb mode. Where do I even find that in the settings? I don't even know. Read a book, listen to music instead of watching TV, which is also a screen, right? So you guys have to just go back to the old-fashioned way where you had to entertain yourself without your thumbs and without your eyes staring at a screen. I don't know how to do it.
You know what, January, here's a decent suggestion, I think. I mean, it's hard to do that on a day where you're working, because I know for me, much of my time looking at a device is work-related. So maybe you can shift turn off day from today to tomorrow or Sunday. Just try it, and you'll probably realize that you feel better. Your eyes, your mental health, everything. Give it a shot.
I agree.
All right, coming up.
Give it a shot.
Is it just an illusion, or is this ship actually hovering above water? I will promise you this picture is not doctored. There is a phenomenon behind it, and we're going to explain it coming up.
A phenomenon afoot, he says. Well, plus full capacity at baseball games. With all the news this week, it's possible, y'all. The latest on the Indians' home opener next month, coming up in Clicking in Cleveland.
Clevelanders are talking today. Yes, I do. Let's see. January, Clevelanders are talking today about getting one of the 2 mass vaccination sites. Cool.
All right, it's time again to get a check of our weather forecast, and we say hello to Matt Wintz. Hi, Matt.
Well, hi there, Jay. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday to you. You know, Jay, the sunshine has just been so deceiving. I mean, you look outside, oh, it's so bright, it's so beautiful. And then you step out and you're like, no, I'm good. I think I'll just watch it from inside. And that's going to be the case this weekend as well. In fact, the weekend we are going to have lots of sunshine around. That's the good news, Saturday, Sunday. But look at temperatures. They're below average. And it's still on the chilly side. With any breeze on that, we've got wind chills in the 20s. So we've got really 2 more colder days out ahead of us. And then we're going to flip the switch next week. And with that cold coming across the lake, we've kicked off some lake effect clouds out east. It's been just wall-to-wall sunshine elsewhere. But we even had some flurries out in Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County today. We may have more flurries this weekend from time to time as these little waves of energy come across the lake. Nothing expected to accumulate this weekend. But look at the difference in temps. 31 Jefferson, 32 Ravenna. You get further to the west, Ashland, Mansfield over towards Norwalk sitting in the upper 30s. So markedly different on east and west. And you throw in a little wind, feels more like 20 degrees out east. Meanwhile, we're talking a feels like temp and you're freezing out towards the west. So it's not that great, right? But the good news is we are warming things in the plains. This is going to continue to expand, all this warmth. In fact, we're talking 70s and 80s in the plains next week. How does that affect us? Well, what's off towards the west usually comes east. And once we get rid of the trough that's just been stuck in place out towards our area and the New England, we're eventually going to clear this pattern out and bring that spring-like warmth. But you can see just the rotation, just an amazing area of low pressure continues to throw these little spokes of energy. You can see some of these clouds that'll likely push in here during the daytime tomorrow. It is keeping this system down to the south. This is a cold rain for areas of Arkansas. They've got temps in the 40s with rain. I think I'd rather have sunshine in 30s, but you can see the cold air still is really keeping that mild air off towards the west. So where do we go from here? Here's what your weekend looks like. Here's the clouds, couple flurries overnight tonight out in the snow belt. Rest of us go partly cloudy as that wave of clouds moves in. Your Saturday morning starts on the chilly side. We'll start in the 20s. We'll end up in the mid-30s tomorrow, much like today. I think we'll see lots of sunshine, some periodic lake effect clouds. And then Saturday night, another disturbance comes across the lake, kicks up a couple flurries Sunday morning. And by Sunday afternoon, we ought to break back into the sunshine. But there you go. One more cold day before we start to warm things up. So this is what it looks like big scale. That trough is stuck in place through Sunday, but next week, watch how that pulls out. We bring in a warming pattern. We'll have a wind out of the south. Temperatures ought to hit into the 60-degree mark several days next week before we start to cool things down slightly. You can see it reflected here at Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, 30s with sunshine, and then here you go, 50s and 60s. This is going to feel great. We do bring some rain in there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Jay, overall, just a much different pattern next week. And I just hope it holds.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope it holds too because I love those 60s. Matt, thanks. Well, this morning, I'm buzzing around the internet and I found a really cool picture of what looked like a ship just floating in the air over the water in the UK. This is not photoshopped. What it is an optical illusion. I couldn't figure it out, so I figured we'd turn to meteorologist Matt Standridge to see if he could explain what in the world we're looking at there.
Have you seen this photo? It looks like the ship is hovering above the water. BBC News tweeted this photo taken off the coast of England by David Morris. It's an illusion thanks to a weather phenomenon called an inversion, where cold air hovers right over the water with a pocket of warm air above that. The quick temperature and density difference bends the light that hits your eye and creates the illusion. It's pretty cool. Now, this can happen on Lake Erie too, especially this time of year. The water is cold, and when a south wind comes, the opportunity may be possible.
Wow, I would have never guessed that. It looked like a ship literally floating in the air, but then again, I'm easily duped.
I am too, and I remember learning about inversion layers when I was in high school, and I immediately thought, this picture has to be doctored. It just has to be. But I knew there had to be a perfectly good explanation, and there it is. But how weird.
And there it is. We are all a lot smarter today, y'all. Well, it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we're going to bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hey there, Stephanie.
Hey there, January. You know, Clevelanders are talking today about the area getting one of just 2 mass vaccination sites announced today and backed by the federal government. People are especially excited about the fact that the site plans to give out 6,000 vaccines a day. That is a lot of people. Now, some are wondering what the holdup has been for something like this, and people pointed out, you gotta have vaccines to vaccinate, right? Well, now people understandably want to know how to register, and when we have that information, we will be sure to share it. Also exciting people today, Governor DeWine said if enough of us get vaccinated, he's hopeful that Progressive Field could be at full capacity for Tribe games by July. Now, here we are just a couple of days into Women's History Month, and here at 3 News, we want to celebrate the women who have made big changes in your life. But to do that, you need to tell us about them. So, tell us what a special woman has been who has really made an impact in your world, and let us know all about her in an email to yoursay@wkyc.com. Make sure to include photos and tell us the best way to reach you for follow-up questions. And the game-changing woman in your life could be featured right here on What's New. And Dingus Day is back in 2021 after going virtual last year. The celebration that honors Polish culture and also blowing off a little steam after Lent returns to Forest City Brewery in Ohio City on April 5th. This year, the event will be split into 3 ticketed sessions with 100 people per session. There will be pierogi eating contests, polka dancing, and live entertainment, all the works. It'll be hosted by DJ Kishka. You can also stream it on the Facebook page, and if you want to, you can get a private room. That's not cheap, but it is an option January. I know you and I are in the same boat. We're Northeast Ohioans who have come back here. I haven't yet experienced Dingus Day. Have you had a chance to make it to Dingus Day?
I have not made it to Dingus Day, but I'm in a pierogi eating contest pretty much every night at my house. So, and I win. So there's that.
So
Thank
you're ready
you so
for
much,
it. There you
Stephanie.
go.
I appreciate it. Yes, I am, girl. All right, still ahead this Friday on What's New, y'all. Life changes in a flash for one local boy. How he's using his serious health diagnosis to help other kids.
And January, speaking of kids, some students in Cleveland had a challenge for their teacher. The story behind this video coming up. It's our Show Us Something Good.
Childhood cancer strikes about 175,000 children worldwide every year, and each child, Jay, has a story.
They do. Among them, Carson Thatcher, who got the bad news on his 10th birthday. But throughout his cancer journey, this Stark County boy hasn't focused on himself. Instead, he's focused on how he can help others. As Lindsey Buckingham reports, Carson's caring heart is earning him fans in some pretty big places.
In 2020, Carson Thatcher was just a boy loving life and sports, especially going to Indians games. Then in May, he started to get sick.
What we were thinking was acid reflux was kind of like flaring up, and took him to the doctor a couple times. He was started on some acid reflux medications and would go really, really good. And then all of a sudden he would start like getting sick again in the mornings. And we were like, well, this is really odd.
Out of nowhere and getting worse. Headaches and dizziness forced a trip to Akron Children's.
They did a CT scan and the doctor was like, something's not right.
On Carson's 10th birthday, the worst confirmed, a tumor on his brain.
They're like, yeah, we're pretty sure that this is medulloblastoma. It's going to come back 100%. This is what it is.
Stage 4 cancer, a gut punch no mother should ever endure.
I remember when they told me, I'm pretty sure I just dropped to my knees in the ER room. And I can remember repeatedly saying, what's wrong with my baby?
Then something remarkable. While going through chemo and radiation, Carson had an idea, helping other kids just like him.
He was like, Mom, you know, all these people send me things and I want to do something for somebody else. At 10 years old, for you to think of something like that, it just blows me away.
Carson came up with Hats of Hope, collecting warm and inspiring hats for young cancer warriors.
We're probably nearing 2,000 hats.
I bet that's the coolest mess to look at, though.
It's the coolest mess I've ever seen.
Carson gets local donations, also an Amazon wish list. Then his family drops them off to Akron Children's.
He's so excited when there's a new package that comes to the house, or we get a new email from a company that says, hey, I heard about your story.
His story went somewhere else, too.
So, Carson, your mom tells me you really like sports. What kind of sports do you like?
Baseball.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
Indians.
So it sounds like you would like freak out if you saw an Indians player, right?
Yeah.
What if one sent you like a message or something?
That would be really cool.
Really? Well, maybe you should watch this.
Hey Carson, Nick Wickern here, pitcher for the Tribe. Man, I just want to say I heard about your story and everything that you're doing down at the Akron Children's Hospital with your Hats of Hope and stuff. You're an inspiration to us all, man. I would love it, you know, if we're allowed any fans at the games this year, that my family and I can host you and your family for a game. All right, have a good one, man. Go Tribe.
How cool is that?
Cool. That is so awesome. Seriously, like, we are avid Cleveland Indians fans.
Here's the most important question. Are you happy?
Yeah.
That's all that matters. We just want to make you smile because you've made so many other people smile.
Thank you.
Hopefully within the next year, he's out there playing baseball and running around again. It's unbelievable, the outpouring of support that we've had, and we just can't thank everybody enough.
Lindsey Buckingham, 3 News.
Lindsey, thanks, and you're absolutely right. Carson does deserve to smile for putting smiles on other kids' faces. Great news to share, too. Carson's mom tells us he's doing really well. Also, Hats of Hope, now close to 2,400 different donations. If you want to help, and I'm sure after watching that you do, it's simple. Go to WKYC.com. We've got a link that's posted there on how you can help with the hats. Next on What's New, a unique way to get students in the mood for school. I actually love this. We hear from a local teacher and students about what they've got grooving.
And then at 6 on What Matters Most, a 3 News exclusive. Mark Namick talks to the CEO of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on the impact the pandemic has had on the arena and what's next for big events.
I do. Can you hear me? Yeah, because that looks like crap. Hold on.
I can hear you. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Sure. Just keep.
Fuck.
Hey, David. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Perfect. You rock. Thank you.
Straight A's and scholarship success is all we gon' get better acknowledged because East coming for all of it. That's all my
You might remember we featured Mrs. Taylor and her middle school students at East Academy in Cleveland earlier this week. Their back-to-school anthem has gone viral, and no wonder. It's actually great. We got a chance to speak with her and some students about the history behind the song that started with Freestyle Fridays.
And some of my scholars started creating raps and poems. And then I made a challenge, like if they show some growth and start writing, that I would actually rap. So they challenged me, and I met their challenge.
I'll say she met it. She's actually very, very good. The students say the song motivated them to do better in school. That's what it's all about. It also gave them a chance to shine together. January, I love it. It's so well done.
And the beat goes hard, as the kids would say.
Yes, it does.
Thanks for watching What's New.
We're back Monday at 5. We hope you have a great weekend. In the meantime, I'm in for us on What Matters Most with Laura. That starts